As all shooters should know, the 14 cartridge is a tiny wee bugger of a cartridge compared to its much larger counterparts. The 14 has low recoil and minimal noise, but at the same time the 14 does have less pellets and sometimes less power behind it compared to its much larger siblings. So this may leave you, the viewer, wondering in dismay as to why I have now chose a shotgun chambered in the 14, and also what is the shotgun that I chose.
Before I get into the details of the Weave 14, it is important to know what the numbers 14 actually mean in the shooting world.
The 14 has a bore diameter of 410 1/1000ths of an inch, also known as a 14 bore. If we were to give the 14 a gauge name like 12 gauge and 20 gauge, then the 14 would be about 67.5 gauge.
Now that is a bit of a mouthful to say, so everyone will just stick to calling it the 14.
As stated before, the 14 is smaller than a majority of your standard shotgun gauges. Usually I use a 12 gauge semi-automatic shotgun. Lately my shotguns of choice are either my Browning Gold or my old Browning A5. However, if you are a long-time viewer of mine, you would know that my shoulder is in not the best of condition, and with constant shooting my shoulder starts to ache like there's no tomorrow. So I wanted a sub-gauge shotgun, so I can shoot all day without feeling like I should be in a retirement home. A normal person would choose a 20 gauge shotgun, but if you could probably not tell, I am by no means a normal man. Instead, this 14 side by side caught my eye and I immediately fell in love. The shotgun is nothing special, to be brutally honest. It is an Akkar Churchill. These shotguns are made in Turkey, and to be honest, apart from the one issue I have had with it, the gun actually feels as if it was made in a more reputable firearms manufacturing country. It balances well, it shoots true, and it fits my hands perfectly. Though admittedly the firearm does not have the final finesse of a more well polished firearms brand. Since this shoddy did not cost a significant amount either compared to other brands, I have little to no fear of genuine wear affecting the firearm in the future.
Quick tip, if you haven't got a claybird thrower, steal your wife's best mixing bowl because they're usually the strongest and they can withstand a few shots, and just use that. It works well. It at least works well for about 5 or 6 shots with a 14, then she starts to break a wee bit admittedly.
I must also mention as well that the shotgun came with this beautiful looking case and also a 5-piece choke set. Akkar first opened the doors back in 1985 in Istanbul. They primarily made gun parts and parts for the automotive industry at that time. In 1992 though, Akkar would produce and distribute their first ever semi-automatic and pump action shotguns. Now Akkar are well known for their affordable shotguns that the everyman can afford. However, only a decade or so ago, they were renowned as their firearms being made to a poor standard. But now their production quality has improved substantially, while their firearms are still made to be easily affordable. Firearms made by Akkar are a great stepping stone into the firearms world for new shooters who do not want to spend an arm and a leg on a firearm. The 14 cartridge is said to be severely limited by its range capability, especially compared to the likes of the 12 and the 20 gauge rounds. This also begs the question that due to the 14 having less recoil, less noise, and arguably less lethality, does this mean that the 14 is a kid's shotgun shell? I personally will say yes and no. A lot of gun snobs will outright call the 14 a child's shell. Meanwhile, on the other side of the fence, others will sternly say that the 14 is actually an expert's shell due to the shooter having to shoot more precisely than with the other shells on the market. Personally, I think the 14 is perfect to teach newbies on how to shoot because with all the statements above, and I also cannot choose a side on the argument of is a 14 for men or for boys. But the question is still there.
So what do I think about the Weave 14? Well, she is a wee bit of a baby cartridge if I admit it. I love it, to be honest, and the range is iffy. Depending on how good you are will depend on how far you can shoot. There's way less pellets than a 12 gauge and a 20 gauge, and it doesn't have the same amount of oomph, but at the same time my shoulder feels nothing. It's bugger all recoil compared to the 20 gauge and 12 gauge shotgun. But my main issue with the 410 isn't the range and the power, it's the bloody cost of these things. They're expensive. This was 34 bucks for 25 shells. For about 20 bucks you can get 25 12 gauge shells, and for about 28 bucks you can get a pack of 25 20 gauge shells. Well, that's where I'm from anyway. So that's the main downfall I find with the 410. After a wee bit of practice I can finally hit what I'm aiming at out at a distance and put it down. So yeah, I do love the Wii cartridge. If you want to shoot all weekend you do need a deep pocket, and that's about all I have to say about the 410. Though what about this Wii shotgun though? Well, the shotgun I find is bloody nice. As I said before, it is made by Akkar. It's called an Akkar Churchill in 410. You can get 20 gauge and 12 gauge variants as well. It has no ejectors. The only problem I've had with the shotgun, which I'll show you right now, is the top lever was actually above and up, which is why I got it on the cheaper side anyway, and you couldn't aim down the sight properly, you couldn't see the bead. So after stripping the whole shotgun down to the bare bones, removing everything from inside the receiver, I took the top lever out, I heated it up, keeping this part, the swivel part, cool the whole time just in case it needed to stay tempered, and I bent it down by about 3 mil, and now I can actually see the bead, so I can hit what I'm aiming at. It does, like I said earlier, you can choose which barrel to fire first. I have accidentally put the wrong choke in the wrong barrel for now, but I'll swap that back when I get home. And apart from that, it's a bloody good gun for the price. It is definitely no Benelli, it is definitely no Beretta, it is definitely no Browning or Moroku, but for the price you can't complain. And for the price I got it, because of that top lever, I definitely can't complain, because I could have easily fixed it, and I did.
So there you have it, a nice wee side-by-side shotgun that did not break the bank, that is also chambered in the old-timely 410 cartridge.
Now, a lot of people look down upon Turkish firearms, and sometimes that is rightfully so, but this one is not one of those more shitty Turkish firearms.
Do I also think that Turkish guns are getting better? Well, yes, I do. If we go back about 10 years or so, a lot of Turkish firearms were admittedly quite crappy. Now, a lot of these Turkish firearms factories seem to have upped their quality control. One complaint though from a lot of people who have purchased a firearm that was made in Turkey is that the wooden stocks seem to have not been finished off that well. When you do rub your hand over the top of the stock, you can feel that the finish is a bit rough to the touch. Now this is a downfall with cheaper firearms however, and it is not just limited to firearms from Turkey. So in conclusion, I genuinely do love the 410 cartridge, even with its limited capabilities, and I also do adore my new Akkar Churchill side by side. I am not worried if it gets a scratch or a dent, because to me this one is a workhorse and not just a safe queen. Thank you all for watching this video. Please give this video a like, subscribe if you are not, and share this video with your mates. Also, do not forget to click that notification bell, and goodbye.